Hello, everybody. It is Monday night. Welcome to another edition of FPP Live, right here on Instagram and only on Instagram. An exclusive series brought to you by the Future Perfect Project. So the Future Perfect Project, if you don't know, we are an organization that believes that the self-expression of LGBTQIA plus individuals is a declaration of a better future for us all, in particular, LGBTQIA plus youth. We offer completely free programming to LGBTQIA youth, ages 12 to 22 years old. And we offer that in the form of writing workshops, music and songwriting, and most recently, we are offering queer comics, an exclusive queer comics workshop where we have young participants creating their own queer comics, writing their own origin stories, and embracing their own superpowers. And tonight, we are going to be sitting with an amazing illustrator, graphic novelist, cartoonist by the name of Alison Bechdel. Just waiting for her to join. And really great for you to be here. If you want to check us out, you can go ahead and go to thefutureperfectproject.com to learn more about us. We actually just released an album. We have a project called FPP Records, and Generation Reclamation is our first album that you can now find on Spotify. The Future Perfect Project, Generation Reclamation. Check it out. It's pretty amazing. Amazing music. All music written by LGBTQIA youth, composed and created with notable LGBTQIA musicians and singer-songwriters. And it's available on Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere that music is streamed. And I want to shout out two of our amazing facilitators, Emma Jane Seslowski and Ryan Amador, for all the amazing work they did to put that project together. Check it out on Spotify as soon as possible. It is the Future Perfect Project, Generation Reclamation. And the links are all in the chat. You can check it out, Jester0709. Look for the links in the chat. And check out our workshops. We have a new round of FP records coming up. We have every Tuesday, we have our FPOW, or Future Perfect Online Workshops, that deal with a different topic each week. This Tuesday, we've got Guardians of the World with Celeste Lucine and Ryan Amador, taking you through a mystical, mystifying, powerful journey of self-expression. And that's what we do here at the Future Perfect Project, just waiting for our good friend, the amazing Alison Bechdel, who you might know from, what is that Tony Award-winning musical? Oh, Fun Home. But there are so many other things that Alison has done prior to Fun Home. She's been rocking it since 1983, folks, claiming her full queer self. And we're going to talk to her all about her process, who she is, what she's doing now. Shout out to High Life. And just waiting for her to join. So hopefully everything is cool with Ms. Bechdel. Yes, Fun Home. Shout out for Fun Home. What's your Ring of Keys moment? Post it in the chat. Come on now. Everybody's got one. Even if you're queer or not, everybody's got one, you know? When you see that person that you relate to and you're like, wait a minute. I'm all about that, right? A lot of great people on here right now. Dykes Unite! That's what's so cool, is Alison, in 1983, started a comic strip, the first of its kind, really, that I know, in publications, called Dykes to Watch Out For And I think that 1983 was the same year that I saw the Donahue episode on lesbians that made me want to stay way, way, way deep in the closet. So I'm so curious to talk to Alison about her queerness and claiming it, especially so boldly at a time in the early 80s. Around that time, I didn't know anyone who was gay. All through high school, graduated in 1991, I didn't know anybody that was gay. So it's great for us to talk to these LGBTQ icons, our favorite icons, and what they're doing in the world, and about their art that they're creating in order to inspire all the young people that we work with, to show them that you can be queer, you can be powerful, you can take up space, you can have your own unique perspective that the world really needs to hear. We need to amplify those voices and make sure that everyone is safe, seen, and celebrated. So I'm going to do a little shout out to Emma Jane Grams. I'm not sure where my friend Alison is. Really hoping that that she joins me. I'm wondering if maybe she tried to, but I think that would pop up on my screen. As far as the technology goes, I believe that's how it works. I want to give a shout out to DMVAZ, DMVAZ, who just joined us. And High Life, thank you for sticking with us. It's great to see you. So yeah, let's see here what's going on. I am not... I'm not sure, but if you want to sign up for FPP records, there is still time. There's a special link in the chat. And if you are a young musician, I think the ages, all right, Alison Bechdel just joined. So any moment, all this buildup leading to Alison Bechdel joining us and asking very soon if she too can join this conversation. How special? Asked High Life. Tonight is gonna really be a one of a kind. You know, we've done so many of these, and I want to shout out also to Emma Jane Zaslowski, Z Infante, Ryan, and Celeste, who have hosted, at least Z and Emma have hosted quite a few of these. Hey, Karen, good to see you. Corinne by Nature. Coming to us from Connecticut. So Alison is in the chat now, so just send Alison an invite to join. Okay. I thought she had to send me an invite. I don't know how to do that. Add, go live with Alison. Let's see, Alison. I think I'm doing it right. Alison Bechdel. That's not Alison Bechdel though. I think there's a ghost Alison Bechdel account too, and there's a real one. And is that right? Did I choose the right one? Hello? Let's see. Yeah, I think I did. Yeah.
Hi.
Allison.
Hi, I'm sorry. I could not figure this thing out. I'm really sorry.
You and I both. I've been like, here comes Allison. What's going on?
I never go on Instagram. I know like these kids live here, but I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
These young people with their technology, I'll stick to Facebook. So thank you. I've been telling everybody while we've been waiting all about you. I mean, a little bit about you, at least, just kind of skimming the surface about, I just was talking about how long before Fun Home, you had launched Dykes to Watch Out For back in 1983, which was a huge deal for me. So yes, everyone, welcome. If you're just joining us, this is FPP Live. It is Monday night.
Hi, everybody.
We're here with Alison Bechdel. Each Monday night, we sit down and have a conversation with one of our favorite queer LGBTQ plus icons. And tonight we have the totally queer and fabulous American cartoonist, Alison Bechdel. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Created, as I said, the groundbreaking comic strip series, Dykes to Watch Out For, and is also known as the author and illustrator for the 2006 autobiographical graphic novel Fun Home, which then went on to become a musical and won Tony Awards in 2015. Blah, blah, blah. Stuff that happens every day. Anyway, let's get back to Alison. So, Alison, welcome.
Thank you.
The first thing that we always do with these conversations is we get to know each other by saying our name, pronouns, how we're feeling, and where we are located. So I'll start. We do it in a sentence. So I would say, my name is Julie, and I use she, her pronouns, and she is feeling excited in Kingston, New York.
How did you start? My name is that how we do it?
Yeah, my name is, and then you're,
okay.
And then they are, or she is, or he is, feeling your pronoun and how you're feeling.
Got it, in a sentence. My name is Alison. My pronouns are she, her, and she is feeling a little daunted in Bolton, Vermont.
Bolton, is it freezing cold up there right now?
It's very cold and there's a lot of snow.
Yeah, same here in Kingston, New York. So let's get down to business. How do you identify on the LGBTQ plus spectrum?
I'm going to go with the L. That's like
with the L.
Yeah.
The big L right here.
That's
too.
Right.
And what does your queerness mean to you? I mean, I think that, let me stop right there. That's too broad of a question. Let me ask you this. When did you realize that you were queer, or perhaps what was your own like ring of keys moment, so to speak?
Wait, that's my story. It is my ring of keys moment. You know, it's so bizarre, Julie. You gave me these questions ahead of time, and I was thinking, it never occurred to me to tell that story, but that is kind of the moment I realized I was queer. So yeah. Shall I tell that story?
Tell the story for folks who haven't seen Fun Home or read the graphic novel, which is absolutely amazing.
Okay, well, my story of my own queerness has been strangely complicated by the fact that my father, as it happened, was also queer, gay, or probably bisexual, which I didn't know until I blithely stumbled along and came out to my parents when I was in college at age 19. And I didn't think they were going to be thrilled that I was a lesbian, but I was not prepared for what did happen, which is that I just unearthed this terrible family secret that my dad had been having affairs with other men for my parents' whole marriage. Wow. So that was intense, and it like kind of ruined my moment. Like, it was no longer my story, it was my parents' story and my father's story.
Yeah.
And it started like going back at age 19 and thinking over my whole childhood, like nothing was what I had thought it was, you know? And I'd always remembered this time my dad and I went out to a restaurant. I was on well, this is a whole other crazy part of the story. My dad was also a funeral director. So yes, I was on a business trip with him, I think in the hearse, like when he goes to pick up a body somewhere. And we stopped for lunch. And I was little. I was like 4. I don't think I was even 5 years old. Maybe I was 5, but no more than that. And we went in this restaurant, like just a cheap lunch place. And I saw this incredible woman come in. This big, tough woman with short hair. I think she was like delivering something, like from a truck to the lunch shop. And I was just slack-jawed. I was like, oh my God, that is who, that woman is me. Like somehow I recognized myself in that woman. I not only saw myself, but I like desired her, like she was hot. But my dad, but here's the way that my weird childhood with my closeted gay dad played in. He saw her too, and he had the opposite reaction of me. He was like, that woman is, she's crossed the line. She is not in polite society anymore. She's obviously queer. And he caught my eye and he said, is that what you want to look like? Wow. Because I was always struggling and fighting with him to like not have to wear dresses. And, I grew up in the era where you had to wear dresses all the time if you were a girl. It was awful. Yeah. And I, I knew instantly that yes, that was what I wanted to look like, but I couldn't say that. I had to say no.
Well, the question goes so well in conjunction with what's the first thing you learned about being gay. So it was like at the same time you learned, oh my God, like this major connection, you also learned like, no, 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 that is not
Yes,
what you can be,
in
which
the
was really,
same moment. Yeah,
yeah, in the exact same moment, which is so intense and makes such an indelible mark on us as we go through our lives. And it leads me
yeah.
to the next question I want to ask you, kind of jumping ahead to college, um, and coming out in college. Tell me.
Well,
Oh, go
here
ahead. Sorry.
this is funny because we just I just realized that those two things happened at once, both identifying as queer and learning that it was not okay. But on the other end, 15 years later, when I was coming out in college, I had a similar weird conjunction of not only acknowledging once again that I was queer, but that also in that same moment I realized it was okay. Like I couldn't let myself own it until I also felt safe enough in the world. And I had just started seeing other gay people, and that gave me what I needed.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you in relation to how did queer community help facilitate your own coming out, and like what was that like stepping into that world? Because I know for me also with college, I didn't feel safe to come out until I got to college and was like, oh my God, there's other ways people can be, and I feel totally safe to be my full self, and it gave me the confidence.
Um, I actually, I'm a shy person, and I was even more shy when I was in college. So I didn't have necessarily direct community at first. I got my queer community through books.
Mm.
And I just started looking in books in the college bookstore and the college library and reading everything I could about homosexuality. And it was one book in particular called Word is Out, which was a book
Mm.
made from a film, a documentary film about a bunch of gay men and lesbians just talking about their lives. But it was seeing those real people not being afraid to come out, not being afraid to talk about their queerness, that was just mind blowing to me. It was like, oh my God, I'm one of those people, and that's okay.
That,
So,
yeah.
and then that connection with the people in the book helped me to get brave enough to actually go to I was very lucky to be going to a school that had a gay organization, and I
Yeah.
went to that. I like screwed up all my courage and went to that meeting. That was the bravest thing I ever did in my life.
Wow. It's so amazing. I'm so glad that that was available to you because I mean, queer community is everything. It makes such a difference for us,
Yeah.
especially, Celeste, the co-founder of Future Perfect Project, always talks about having your vertical family that you grow up with, and then your horizontal family that you find on the outside of you,
Huh.
and really how that horizontal family is a chosen family that really
Yeah.
can hold us up. Um, so yeah, so what I first saw Dykes to Watch Out For, one of the strips, probably in like 1994 or 95, and I remember being like, I was in my early 20s, like Dykes to Watch Out For, like what? How is she using the word dyke like in a positive? Like she's talking about being a dyke. Like it was so weird for me
Wow.
because I hadn't been able to reclaim that or claim that word for myself because it was used as a slur toward me when I got harassed on the street for.
Mm.
So how did you come to like fully claim your queerness and step into the person that was able to start Dykes to Watch Out For?
Well, this is, I know I don't have a neat story. It always immediately gets complicated by my crazy family. And what happened was my father, soon after I came out and we had this mutual revelation that we were both gay or queer or whatever, my father killed himself.
Yeah.
That's what my book Fun Home is about and what the musical is about. Um, so that was interesting in many ways. I mean, of course, it was very sad, but it was also really freeing. Like all of a sudden, I didn't have this parent who
Mm.
was having expectations of how I was going to live my life. My mother was very busy and caught up with her own, grief and keeping the
Yeah.
family going. So I was kind of left to my own devices. And I threw myself headlong into the queer community. That was like where I wanted to be. It's where I felt safe. It's where I felt good about myself. And I felt like I had seen the consequences of hiding your true sexual nature.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it was a tragedy for my family. So it kind of became my mission in life. I don't know if I thought it through that clearly at the time. I don't think I did.
Yeah.
This is kind of in retrospect, but I just wanted to be a professional queer. That was my job, and I was really psyched when finally by the time I turned 30, I just could make a living doing my lesbian comic strip.
Yeah. And when did you, so you went to Simon's Rock and then eventually to Oberlin,
Uh-huh.
and good queer community there for, just so our young people know, like at the time that was a really, those were both places where you kind of got to settle in and feel accepted and expand yourself and your creativity.
Definitely at Oberlin. I wasn't aware of my own self when I went to Simon's Rock first, and I didn't have an awareness of my sexuality there. So I didn't see it. I only learned after I left that it was all over the place. Everyone was gay there.
Yeah, right. When did you know that the way that you were going to express yourself as an artist was through illustration?
That was something I always knew from the get-go. I mean, all children draw, but it was like my favorite thing to do. I never stopped as I got older. I just
Yeah.
kind of did it more and more. And that was one great thing about my family was they did nurture that artistic interest. They,
Yeah.
gave me a lot of strokes for it, and my dad was always buying me paper to draw on.
Hmm.
So I kind of got good reinforcement for that.
Yeah, yeah. That's really nice to have those kinds of crazy parents, but they really see you in that certain way, that
Yeah,
specific way. I feel the very
yeah.
same way about my parents.
Hmm.
So you 1983, you create Dykes to Watch Out For. What was the reception at first, and how did it feel? I mean, what was the reception? Was it negative? Did you get people like, this is too much? What are you doing?
Well, it was a, it's hard to explain this now because there's so much, so many images of queer people in the media that we don't, it's hard to imagine, I think, what it was like when I was young, when you just didn't see it. It just
Yeah.
was not there. So I I was making this comic strip, but nobody saw it except, 10 lesbians. It was running in
Right.
tiny little newspapers
Yeah.
that were handed out at the bar. It was very much a subcultural phenomenon. It wasn't like I was sending these to the New York Times, you
Right,
know.
right, right.
Um, so that was good in a way because it was like I had a very friendly reception.
Yeah,
The people who were seeing it liked it. They weren't
yeah,
taking offense at it. And that was good because I needed to build up my own confidence and my own sense of
yeah,
what I was doing. And I don't think I could have done that if I were putting myself out in the broad world.
yeah. That's where community comes in handy again, like getting that group that's like, yes, keep doing this, and really,
Yeah.
really helping you along the way. Um, so, as I had mentioned before you got on, Future Perfect Project's mission is we believe that the self-expression of young LGBTQ people is a declaration for a better future for us all, and that a lot of LGBTQIA plus youth that we work with are living in a future that has not yet arrived. They see things that we can't see. They know things that we don't know.
Yeah.
And I wonder, when you were a young person, um, how do you think you were living in the future as a young person? What was your vision of the world that people didn't quite understand, but you knew maybe this is the way it's going to be?
It's funny. I was just talking to my aunt last night. She's like 85, and I reminded her of one time when she told me when I was like 20 or so. She said, "Oh, Allison is the tailored type." Because I didn't fit into any kind of like feminine,
Mm,
role that she or people in her world recognize. So, but she found a way to make room for me. She called me the tailored type. She's like very focused on fashion. So,
Yeah.
so I thanked her for that. And then she started telling me these stories about how these kind of mean things other members of my family had been saying about me when I was in my early 20s and was walking around with my super short haircut and my men's blazer. And it's funny, that was 40 years ago, but I still felt bad about it. I was like, oh, they thought I was a freak. I don't care. I don't care. But I was living in the future because I didn't care. I didn't see their, I mean, on some level, I saw their being freaked out, and I was like, screw you. This is who I am.
Yeah.
But, I don't know what enables young people to do that. They just don't have an investment. I think that's the beauty of being young, is that you don't have all this stuff that you need to protect. You don't have your job yet. You don't have children, or you don't have money yet. You're free. You're free to just be true to yourself and be true in every way, because you don't have these obligations that you somehow feel are more important, and they're not.
Yeah. It's so refreshing too, because I think that sometimes we hit a point where we get older that we're like, those darn kids, they think they can, but they, for myself working with FPP, like my world has expanded exponentially in terms of understanding this generation now, and how in tune they are with issues of gender and sexuality and being and race. And it's just really, and I think that you talked about your first exposure to homosexuality or queerness being in the library and books, and I think that social media certainly in this day and age has helped so much with that. And I think that kind of has given young folks an edge. It gives me an edge as well. Like, I still can find so many things to read and people to read about. So myself, and
I have a rule. My rule is young people are pretty much always right. Whatever crazy thing they're talking about, it's right. Just go with it.
I know, right? It's true. I found that through and through. So myself and my co-facilitator, FPP teammate Z Infante, we are doing this over the next several Wednesdays in February, a queer comics workshop.
Cool.
Where we're having young people come in and they write their own origin stories. They create their own superpower based on something that, in relation to their queerness, something they might feel self-conscious about,
awesome.
Flipping it on its head. For the young people watching this right now who might want to, go into illustration, graphic novel, develop their own comic series, what advice would you give?
My advice is just look at as many comics as you can. Read the stuff that you want to be doing. You have to practice to doing your own, developing your own style. But for me, that involved just reading lots of other people's work and finding the little pieces I wanted to steal from their stuff.
Yeah. Well, do you have any favorites and inspirations?
Oh man, all of my inspirations are like from a long time ago. I don't know if anyone.
That's okay. I'll know them.
That's all. I was really lucky. Like, as soon as I graduated from college, I moved to New York and I went to the gay bookstore, and there on the shelf was an issue of gay comics, and I was like, "What is that?" I picked it up, and it was a comic book all full of like stories by gay men and lesbians about their lives. I mean, in those days, it was just gay men and lesbians. We hadn't like fully expanded the acronym. And I feel like that was really such a lucky, happenstance for me, because instantly I knew that that's what I wanted to do. I knew I loved to draw. I knew I loved being a lesbian. Here's a way I could combine my favorite things and draw stories about my actual queer life. So that's what I started doing.
I love that. I love so much how, for me, it was such a struggle claiming my identity as a lesbian. And I love how you knew, and Oh, hello. Am I lagging? Oh, that's okay.
Hmm.
Are you there?
I can't
Let's
tell
see.
if
Maybe
I,
we're.
oh,
So I don't know if I'm lagging or if you're lagging. Are you lagging? Am I lagging? Do you lag me? Am I lagging?
um,
Hmm. Wait, don't go. Can you hear me now?
yes, now you're
Can you
back.
hear me now?
Yes.
Um, I just wanted to make that comment of I love how from such a young age you really fully claimed your 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 lesbianness, your dykeness, your butchness, whatever it is that you are, you knew. And I was just saying for me, it was really difficult, really, really difficult to claim that and become an artist who does autobiographical work around my own queerness. So I just love you, and I love that you're here talking
Oh,
to
thank
our
you.
young people who are some of who are really struggling right now to come out. And it's so cool to hear your story. I really appreciate you being here. Um, so we have time just for a couple more questions on my end, and then maybe we'll have a few from some of the watchers. But I wondered if you could say anything to all these queer youth that are watching right now. What would it be?
I'm very loath to give people advice because I know I don't like getting it. I'm always very annoyed when people want to tell me what to do. Um, so you know,
I mean,
being,
I think you kind of did give it in terms of being true to yourself, but I mean, I guess it could be anything. It doesn't even have to necessarily be advice, but what's a message that you might want to send, or something that you've learned, or
well, I'll tell you something that I'm not very good at, which is to be kind to yourself. You know,
mm,
treat yourself like you would treat
yes,
someone else who you really loved.
beautiful.
That's probably good advice. I
That,
find it very difficult to do, so good luck.
I know, yeah, it is, and I think it's something that we forget, especially in activist culture too, where we're trying to always make a difference and change things. We put self care at the bottom of the list sometimes, and it can
Oh
really
yeah.
cause us to break down physically and emotionally. And it's just such a good thing, even though it sounds so simple, it still is so hard to remember sometimes.
It's a
So
lifelong struggle. It's a
yeah,
project. Yeah.
yeah, I love that though. um, so let's see, I'm wondering if we have any questions here. um, oh, someone says they're drawing for their Tuesday upload while watching this and appreciate that we are talking about doing art. It took so long to figure out how to represent being trans in my comics. That's from Sam,
Oh, cool.
who's one of our participants. Someone here asked, Falafel Raptor is asking, how do you keep creative and working when you don't have a hard deadline? That's a great question.
Yeah, I'm a very deadline motivated person, and I find that it helps to like go out and get a deadline. Like say yes to something else. If you're stuck on one thing, tell someone else you'll get them a drawing by tomorrow afternoon, and that'll really light a fire under you.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a good
it's
idea.
it's stressful. I don't necessarily think that's the best way to live. But I, juggling deadlines kind of helps me sometimes.
Yeah, I know it helps me for sure to have a hard deadline. Never regretty that spaghetti asked, I'm working with a queer youth government initiative. Do you have anyone ideas to get through to homophobes? Like, how do you disarm an audience to kind of try to listen to a message? I think is a better way of putting, or
Wow.
more maybe a more clear way of putting that.
I admire people who are willing to do that. Kind of made a personal decision in my life to just not address those people. It's not what I want to do. It needs to be done, and some people are good at it, but I don't really know what to say because I wouldn't do it. I don't have the nerve.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's kind of a tough question. I think it's sometimes too you choose your battles type of thing. But yeah, I think
I
it's
mean,
a
I
good
kind of feel
question.
like I personally, it's like that's not where I want to put my energy. I don't,
Yeah,
you know. Who
Totally,
cares?
totally, totally. And Scout W7 is asking, are you writing anything new?
I just finished a book that I worked on for many, many years, probably more years than these kids have been alive. 8 years. No, I'm sure you're older than 8. But I just finished a book about a month ago, and I'm still basking in relief from being done with that deadline. It's a book called The Secret to Superhuman Strength, and it's all
Ooh.
about my life as an exercise enthusiast.
Oh, wow. What is your
Yeah.
favorite way to move your bod?
Well, I do a lot of different things, but like right now, it's backcountry skiing. We have all this amazing snow here in Vermont, and I've been getting a
Wow.
lot of skiing in. Yeah, it's great. But that's always
Awesome.
been something very important to me that keeps my creativity going too. Like keeping my body active is really important for me.
And this book, what is it taking the form of a graphic novel, a
Yep.
fictional?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a big. All I can write about apparently is myself, so it's another memoir.
Well, we need to hear that voice. Gosh darn it. All right. I think I'm going to do one more question, which is a really, really good one. It's been such a great night with you also tonight. And folks watching, this is the Future Perfect Project. Monday nights, we do FPP Live. We're here with Alison Bechdel. We offer free programming to LGBTQIA plus youth ages 12 to 22. If you want to take one of our workshops, including a queer comics workshop, which is closed actually right now. The registration is closed, but you'll sign up for the next one. Go to thefutureperfectproject.com. We have so many things to offer, all free, youth around the world. Last question. Oh, yes. Hello. What is that little person's name again?
Tintin.
Tintin. Yes, Tintin. So again, thank you. And one last question. Do you ever struggle with feeling like your art isn't good enough? And how do you deal with those feelings of, some might call it imposter syndrome or whatever comes up when you feel a little bit down?
Imposter syndrome is my middle name. It's a constant struggle for me. Uh, I, you know, you want to, I don't like to, to a certain amount, being critical of yourself is productive. It makes you better. It makes you work
Sure.
harder. It makes you, improve. But there's definitely a point at which you need to stop being critical and really accept who you are and let yourself feel good about what you do, what you bring the world. We all are perfect and unique, and that's what we're here to do. So feel good about it.
Enough said,
I wish I could
Allison.
do that.
Well, I think we got to take it one day at a time.
Okay.
So thank you so much for joining me. It's been so great to
You're
talk
very
to you.
welcome, Julie. Thank you.
And folks out there, if you want to learn more about Ms. Alison Bechdel, you can go to dykes2watchoutfor.com. Check us out at thefutureperfectproject.com, and we'll join you all next Monday for another edition of FPP Live. Good night.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.